Salutations after a couple complications. I was working with this gimbal. This is pretty cool, right? Trying to figure it out here. It's sort of new to all this kind of stuff anyway. And made you guys a video, and it didn't record it over to the thing. So that was kind of after a bunch of just remembering things correctly, because that's kind of what mindset turns into. Our brain is a little bit of a mystery at times. Our brain is more like, come on, a record of the past as well as a blueprint of the future. So it is definitely holding on to us in a number of ways while we're holding on to things. And in the morning is when we'll, oh yeah, come on, girl. We'll be able to really see, gauge our relationship with the never-ending now, with reality, with our life, with our disposition, with our life situation, with a little bit of the ego. Some of our decisions kind of hunt us down. So in the morning, we can view how we feel and how long it takes for us to decide the day. We create our day in the morning, unless we created our day the night before and sort of really focused on the new patterns that we're creating. As we are creatures of habit, we will walk down the same game trails for a number of reasons. This is a little bit of mental mapping, sort of like you're unable to go anywhere that you don't know and have never been. GPS allows that to share each other's current local surroundings. So you can now expand your literal mapping in different ways. But this also trickles down into like what jobs you've had and held onto and decided you're better than or too good for, or all these ways that we build ourselves up to needing something in order to motivate ourselves to do anything. So a lot of it just turns into our relationship with where we're at, and that sort of starts to shape our disposition. All this stuff is natural. All of it like just happens thanks to the popularity contest that is life, that we just are exposed to, the blind leading the blind, sort of how to stand out and how not to stand out in a couple specific ways. So now the elements are not elemental right now, so the wind is starting to tell me not to go over there. Or maybe the wind is just trying to tell me not to walk around so dang much. I had already said so much in the other video that didn't get to be saved, that this is all sort of funny. I don't really use a script, so we'll get into everything, and be able to explain everything in a number of ways. So it's kind of strange to ever think that you're not in the right place at the right time, saying and or doing the right thing. Oh, yeah, a sticker. She's got a little sticker. This is all part of how we've created what we feel uncomfortable with and comfortable with, our comfort zones. And those become thick and thin. Our sensitivity, our sustainability, our support system that we create. So, like, meditation is all being able to kind of clean all this stuff up and rethink some things, and not so much so far as become that's the only thing you do, and I have to leave my body now, or it's all fun, it's all entertainment, it's all part of this experience, and there are numerous ways of doing it. A couple of my near-death experiences actually facilitate myself into surrender quite easily, like, pretty simple. The more of the correct details that you think about, because as you think about those moments through a different filter, they stop everything, and trauma keeps you from too much. Your subconscious is always only trying to help you, and so is your ego, and they are the same thing. So some of that can get a little inside out and backwards, similar to what I said in the video that didn't record, about the inner coach and the inner critic, and how we kind of organize our day listening to that side or part of our ego. What we use to motivate ourselves to move, keep ourselves in motion and able to go after any of the things that we do and don't desire, because a lot of things we set up to feel like we're being volunteered into. There's just like certain ways of looking at different things that trigger our fight and flight responses and create an uncomfortable energy field that then reacts and interacts with the flow of energy. We'll like, working with energy comes from fighting it all the way, all together, and then you'll pop out the other side, just like duality has to offer, and you'll start chasing it, you'll start following it, and then it will show you that that's not exactly what is going down. If you do that again, you're chasing your own tail, and you're bound to follow into and through the same self-destructive patterns. It's the same path. So there's just a lot of what a sound mind is, and being rooted, being able to imagine limitlessly, and take some parts of reverse engineer things and take some parts of the equation out of the equation while allowing space to be there for it, because it is to take our self projected personal gain or defensive, come on bub, where are you going, defensive mechanisms a little bit out of the equation, so the good of everyone involved is actually driving everything. And just meeting with what's actually happening kind of changes the way that you interact with everything itself. And in the morning, we create our day, right? We wake up, and the first things that we start thinking about sort of set in tone a chemical release response that then is sort of targeted by the servo mechanism. The body that you have has, you can control it all. You can tell it what you want and what you don't want. And inadvertently, we do this and kind of just naturally go into feeding the analytical aspects of our brain all day long in order to stay alive. That's part of the body, the DNA, and how your nostrils switch over at about 10 o'clock in the morning and 10 o'clock at night. This is all individual, everybody's different, so depending on how you think and how you connect both hemispheres of the brain and how artistic, how dedicated to I'm gonna do art all the time, right? And but then chasing after anything until that dopamine reserve runs dry, has us jump into the other emotions that have all of these chemicals as well. So depression and happiness just become a wave. It's just up and down, and we're as good as we were ever going to feel, and we're testing that with as horrible as we're ever going to want to feel, and then we're just priming our system for an experience. And this turns into something that we can physically do, because quantum health actually heals your body while you're sleeping, and you come back and it's reorganized itself while you're in meditation with focus and awareness and mindfulness and so many different pointer words that really get you all the way there and or keep you from getting there, because some of our beliefs are built by those words that are being used to point us toward the moon. If you concentrate on the finger, you'll miss all the heavenly glory. So we kind of interpret this as a singular experience when it is indefinitely interwoven, and the simulation is here providing an unfolding for you. So how you are interpreting things as well as imprinting the emotions, that with an emotion is kind of setting in motion what the day is going to bring for you to stay on your toes and have a good time. So it's kind of a joke inside a joke on top of a joke, but it turns into some things that you really get arguments with life. I've really had some strange arguments with life, and lots of suicidal tendencies, and lots of hard moments, hard timing. It's almost like when you end up just hurting yourself so bad that your defense mechanisms catch you and you end up going to jail. And in and out of that, you find some ways of hard timing it. And everything is mental. Everything is a mind construct. So how we're programming our day in the morning really turns out into how the day unfolds, and how the day unfolds with our state of awareness, what we feel, our chemical being. So agitated and annoyed, you'll be able to be in alpha state of brain waves with just controlling your breath, with there's a number of ways you just kind of get into flow. If you do something for long enough, you pop into flow, and then your brain is working in a different way. So there's a lot of mental triggers that we are able to access, and we can turn anything into a tool that we're able to use for a healthy way of living, right? And creating our day in the morning is just that. As soon as something is agitating your protective mechanisms, if you're going to allow that tickle to take you out of or into a vibrational state is up to you, and tuning into energy and then kind of working with it and just letting it and listening to it and just letting it turn it into something bewildering again, because our curiosity is just kind of thrown away while we are thrown. And thrown is an enormous topic. I'll probably have to get into it here, as well as on the other page of The Fog of Domestic Violence. I kind of caught a lot of flack trying to share some content with, I don't know, just different words that triggered people's spooky, scary sides to come out, the golem in a lot of people, instead of whoa, I kind of feel that, because it is very much like watching Stranger Things, and some people kind of hide from the aggressive, protective, defensive side that they show other people. And in unfolding all this, we kind of sort of bring all that out of the shadows and kind of bring ourselves into a little bit of awareness and find our true voice and step into the light and flourish and just play with our situational awareness. And I know, like, this is kind of far-fetched from going to work in a cubicle or on a job site or I'm a roofer like my father before me. The only difference was he was not a good one. And there's a lot in the story of that in Dharma. I know I just sounded like I was talking smack about an abusive dad that needs a backstory and needs explaining and all this stuff. Any kind of fear is just needing protection and a signal of feeling left out in the cold. So that's part of what the ego has to teach us too, is what it is like and what it feels like to be alone and feel alone, and the duality of all that, and how not to treat people. So a lot of our dharma, a lot of our assumptions in our parents, and a lot of what they actually did and or didn't do, come into play. And it gets a little bit strange how the game of forgetting unfolds itself for us. But stepping through all of our trauma is a process that we will be getting into. This is just turning into a longer video, so I apologize, but maybe some comments, and we will focus on anything that you want to talk about. Namaste.